Hey, this is Dave, and I'm with my brother Rich, and today we're at my dad's house. Say hey, Dad. Dad's house, Mom and Dad's house, they have an issue with their garbage disposal, and we're going to show you how to replace Badger InSinkErator garbage disposal and do it in a pretty easy amount of time. Okay, here's the unit that we bought, replaced basically the identical unit. It's a 1/3 horsepower InSinkErator Badger. We got a link in our description below to Amazon. When you get ready to change out a garbage disposal, you gotta know what size it is. And this one, it says right there on the tag, it's a 1/3 horsepower. So that's good to know. And then the other thing is you wanna know if you have a cord. Is it corded and plugged into an outlet, or is it just hardwired? And this one is hardwired. First things first, and we've already done it, is to disconnect the power to the disposal. And now we're going to get ready to disconnect all the plumbing. Once we disconnect the plumbing and the dishwasher drain, those two, we can then take this whole unit and turn it, and it should unlock and come right out. Loosen this, and this was just hand tight. It's a compression fit, so it seals things up pretty nicely. And once we undo this, it's going to allow us to be able to take that pipe out. Let me take that. Just pinch it together, it pulls off the hose, and then we can just go ahead and grab this. And this one's been on for a while. You just give it a twist and it'll loosen up, and there you go. Okay, so these were a little tighter than just screwdriver tight, so using a wrench. This has a locking mechanism at the top here, and so we just turn this. I know you can put a screwdriver in these things to give yourself a little help in the turning of it. That locking ring there. And once it gets moving, there you go. The wire has a wire holder right there, and then the connection is made inside this little door. So we're going to take that screw off and get to the wires. I turned off the power to this disposal at the circuit, at the fuse panel, but you always test it just to make sure, because it's only as accurate as the person who labeled it. All right, so now we're just going to loosen the strain relief screw so we can detach the wire. All right, so here's our wires, and you wire it up inside this little cavity here. Now, if your Badger came with a plug and it was already connected, then you were fine. If you have to wire in the plug, well, this is where you would do it. All right, so earlier we disconnected these two wires. These are the wires from the machine, and this is the wiring from the house. And before we can pull this out through that hole, we have to loosen one more screw, and that's the ground, which is right there. And it would just take a little bit of effort here to pull these wires back through. All right, so that's our house wire. All right, so the installation is just the reverse of how it was when we took it out. We're going to open up the back door, the wiring door, and then we have to cannibalize the strain relief coupling is going to go in there. So we're going to cannibalize it off of this one, and that means we won't have to buy that. So, and all you got to do to take this out is just unscrew it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put our strain relief in here from the old one. And it doesn't need to be super tight. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we have a lot of extra wire here, and these are kind of chewed up. So we're going to go ahead and cut this wire down, peel this jacket back a little bit, and then expose some new wire so that we can just start fresh. All right, so all we have to do is go ahead and feed the wires through this hole till they come through right there in that area. and that's where we'll do the rewiring. All right, so we attached our ground screw with the copper wire right there, and now we'll wire nut these wires together. So it's going to be black to black with a wire nut on that, and then white to white with a wire nut on that. Okay, and then white to white. And then when we get these all wired up, we're going to go ahead and put the wires back in that little area and put the metal door over it, and they'll be protected. And we'll go ahead and attach our strain relief clamp to this wire right here to keep it from ever having any strain put on and pulling these wires apart. What we're doing is that piece right there is going to overhang and slide onto this rail right here. And so you've got three of these, hooks. One there, and one on the other side. And so what you're doing is getting them started right here, getting it started there, and it rides right up there, and as it does, it locks it in place. Okay. And then there we go, I felt it. Okay, so it is a little awkward to get this ring on here, but once it bites, you can feel it's tight. How you know you've turned this on and it is right is that this indentation here allows you to go ahead and tighten the screw if you needed to, if you're doing a new installation. So that indent right there lines up with where you can get a screwdriver up there. So then you know you've got this thing locked in right. And then our orientation lines this up with this pipe and that with our garbage or our dishwasher drain. All right, so now before we make the plumbing connection, we have these two pieces, and this is our new O-ring or washer, and you can see in the old one here, it's already in there, and so what we've got to do is go ahead and put that in. So it pops out pretty easily, but the other one, it's not in the other one, so we're going to go ahead and put that in first. Okay, so we're just going to take our washer or our O-ring, put it right in the little circle there. And it's just going to make a nice clean fit. It pops in very easily. This is the new piece that would go there, but it has to be on this side of the plumbing flange of that pipe, and that's our old one. We'll just use our old one because all this is identical. So we line this up right to there, and we're going to take our mounting flange, put it right there, and put the screw in here, screw in there, and then we'll tighten this back up and we'll be good for plumbing.
So you want the power back off?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Alright, so we run the water, go underneath here. You want to check for leaks, make sure everything is kosher, that you don't have leaks from your drain right here or up here at the top anywhere. And if that's all good, go ahead and hit the disposal. We got a switch right here. Sounds way better than it used to. All right, so there you go. We finished it up. It didn't take that long. Even with stopping and starting with filming, it still took, it's probably a job that you could do in 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how easily everything comes apart. But it's really a simple job, not too difficult. If you got any questions, go ahead and shoot us a line, and please don't forget to subscribe. We've got more videos coming.